Oh, we're live. Hi, everybody.
Not even an intro?
I know. I forgot again. And I have it ready to go. I'm not doing it this time. Like, once we're here, it feels pretty cheap. Do you really want to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing it. Here we go. Intro. All right. Happy Monday, everybody.
Okay, stop. Extreme, maybe. I'll be honest. I'm really here for horse talk.
Okay, I'm sure we'll get there. Hey, stop it.
And the dog to get into stuff.
Yeah. Happy Monday, everybody.
Horse talk and singing.
Yeah.
Psychopomping.
Thank you all for coming. Yeah. Anyway, so
it's already a fiasco and we're 5 minutes, not even a minute in.
So last week I did Batman, and this week I'm going to be drawing Spawn. Believe it or not, I actually did a little bit of work on Batman. He's a little more detailed than he was last time. But you know, I've had a busy week, so I haven't done as much as I'd really. And the audio is off again, says Paul. I don't know why. I don't know if maybe it's something to do with doing the intro.
Did you say the audio is off again?
Yeah. Paul Essenson says it's off. And Samuel Reyes says it's out of sync again. So yeah, it's definitely, it's got to be for everybody. Also, my lights are up behind me. That is because I was doing some painting with Eric, and when I plug in my airbrush compressor, it's the same cord as all my lights behind me. So there you go. But I want to show you guys, actually.
Why don't you turn the light on?
Because they're all unplugged. I'd have to go plug it in, and you know what? It's been busy. Anyway. So this is not finished, but I want to show you guys because I'm having a fun time with it. So this is it's Spider-Man kind of turning into Venom. It's still pretty raw in a lot of places. There's a lot of colored pencil. I need to do a final layer on the figure, and I need to finish the background. But Eric and I did this last night, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah. Anyway, that's why I have no lights behind me. Okay. I'm going to start drawing. Meredith, talk.
Well, we are a week in to the Finch Farm logo. I don't know what to call it.
Contest.
The contest, for lack of a better. It's not really a contest, but if you want, I'm blown away. Is all I can say. I have been not like some people have posted in the Finch Flock page, and you've seen the quality of the logos. They're amazing. And some have just DM'd them to me and emailed them to me. And they're like, every time I get a logo in, like every time I see a logo on the page, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's the one. Oh my gosh, that's the one. You guys are freaking killing it. And I am so touched. I mean, to be fair, I know it's so you can get a piece of art drawn by Dave. But everybody who submits a piece, we have to do something for it.
Yeah. Oh, they've been incredible. So much.
They've been phenomenal.
I don't know what should have expected from you guys, and I'm amazed.
It's been ridiculous. You guys, like, yeah, I have nothing to say. Except, wow. And thank you. 1,000 thank yous. Is that dog standing on anything important?
No. No, he's fine.
As he's standing on a piece of art paper.
Yeah, it's the art paper he's on. So I draw on my background, and then I have to change it out. And so he's drawing on the last couple of weeks. I draw on it, and then I turn it over anyway. So he's fine.
So you're gonna bang out the Spawn tonight, right, Dave?
I sure hope so. We got a lot of work to do.
Bang it out. I mean, I'm going to bed at 10.
Yeah, and this is gonna be.
It is gonna suck because I'm not. Who's gonna rub my feet so I can fall asleep tonight?
I don't know. It's gonna be tough.
I might be up till midnight just because I can't sleep.
See, there you go. You should just stay up with us. This is gonna be a long stream because I really want to do Spawn properly, and doing it properly takes time. Also, I totally, my layout is on a page that I've already gotten rid of. So I'm just making this up
Making
right
it
now.
up
I thought, oh yeah,
You
I'm
know
good.
Basically, what you did in your head.
Basically, I know what I want
Dennis
to do.
Kelly says, "I'm still working on mine, Mrs. Finch. Even if I don't win, I want you to see it. I want to see it." Thank you for putting in the time, Dennis.
Yes. And for everyone that's done it. Yeah, absolutely.
He's walking on artwork right now.
Yeah, he is. He's walking on stuff I've already sold.
Why do you leave stuff on the floor, David? I said, did you walk on anything important?
He wasn't at the time.
Well, it was only two inches away.
All
It
right.
was a question of foot placement. You won't say what he was walking on. We gotta get a package out. You gotta sign stuff.
Yes. Yeah, we need to do that in the morning. That way I can get it out when I drop off.
I got all the books ready to go, but I can't make Dave put a signature on them. So that we can finish off that Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So, how was your day today, Dave?
Oh, great. Thank you, Meredith. It
What
was,
did you do?
I worked on my painting. I got a cover turned in. And
Oh, you turned in that cover? That's great.
that cover.
Yeah. The one you've been working on all weekend?
Yes.
That's great. What'd you do today, Meredith? How was your day, Meredith? Well, David, funny you should ask. I've actually spent my day continuing to recover from the Saturday night horse fiasco.
Oh, we're all dying to find out.
You are now, because I dropped it in an interesting way. Now people want to know. And you will be the first to know. The flock is the first to know. Saturday night, 2:00 in the morning, I awakened to the sound of horse screams. And I'm like, oh, it's fine. But accompanying these horse screams is the dog barking. And it's a snowstorm. And it's -15 with the wind chill. Celsius, I don't know what that means in Fahrenheit. But like
I'm going to say -15
20,
yeah, it's like 20.
5,
sure.
maybe 5.
Whatever, it's
even.
cold.
Cold. Like,
And Black Tiger 01 is bailing us out with a super chat for $2. Thank you so much. He says, just got home and Monday Night Draw. His Monday Night Draw copy was waiting for him.
I would have
That's
read
great.
that when I was done my story, dude.
All
I'm
right.
still telling my story.
No, please do go on.
Oh, I'm going to. And Walter Coomer says Horse Screams is the name of my punk band. So anyway, I have a insulated coverall basically. So I put that on. I go outside with my hat and my gloves and my scarf, and my boy horses, my neutered boy horses, let's call them that. They're not stallions. They can't make babies.
And it's important because the neutered ones are a little more common.
Yes, have broken through the electric fence and are now intermingling with my baby female horses and my female horses.
You're really dragging this out.
I am, because why not? You're going to be up late. You're going to need me to fill some time. And they're all running amok. 2:00 in the morning, horses are running amok. Electric fence is flailing, like flying around wildly. It's a fiasco. It's 2:00 in the morning. It's -15 degrees Celsius. An hour later, I have put the 3 boys into the barn because they weren't in the barn for the night. I have given them hay and water, and I have collected the parts of the electric fence I have been able to see with the flashlight of my iPhone because it is pitch black dark in a snowstorm. And it has taken me 2 days to recover from this. Today I had to drive in a new ground rod to ground the electric fence. I mean, you are all artists, so you probably know nothing about how this works.
Or care.
But it's been fun. It's been fun. It's been 2 days of recovery.
Darn it.
And the boy now, thanks to the boys, everybody gets to go into the barn at night.
Yeah, which
Because
took over an hour, by the way.
Because I need to be able to watch them on my cameras to know that they're not getting into trouble.
So I helped Meredith put the horses away.
He
And
does.
it takes about a half an hour.
Here comes an hour of Dave complaining.
It took I won't complain for an hour, but it took an hour. Yeah, I was not thrilled.
Jimmy Reyes says, Meredith Finch, maybe it was an alien, like the movie. It was not an alien scream. It was definitely a horse scream. Adam Meyer has a super chat for $5. Adam says, hey, Dave and Meredith, happy Monday.
Happy Monday, Adam. Thank you very much.
Happy Monday to you, Adam. I'm curious.
Oh, good.
Hey, Siri. What's minus 15 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit?
Maybe we could just start
5
the stream
degrees.
again.
It was a good guess. Dan Genovese said 5 degrees. That's pretty freaking cold.
It's cold, yeah.
5 degrees Fahrenheit.
What did we say?
I think I said 5.
Okay. Thought we said something like minus 20. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, it's cold.
I said 20 and then I said 5.
Right.
Learning to Draw says, Dave is still recovering from the picture I was using to blackmail him for the Monday night draw PDF. Meredith, the picture in the Finch block page. It's you with your fishing hat on.
Oh,
Have you not seen that picture?
No.
Okay, I got to find that one for Dave.
I did see.
It was pretty good.
I did see me on a cow, though.
Yeah, that was from Marsden. John, I think, is it John? No. Is that right? I always just know names. Do you know when you like know somebody to like, yeah, it was John Marsden.
Okay.
For a minute I had is it James?
I'm so off the page here.
John,
I'm sorry,
because I was
guys.
thinking J1. So yes, he did an awesome post of Dave on a cow.
Yeah, it was something.
Pretty freaking hilarious.
We
And
have
then
Dan DeSantos here. I just saw.
we do.
Yep.
Welcome, Dan. Trying to find the Finch Flock page post that is being referred to. Of you in your fishing hat.
That's a 16-year-old picture.
No, that's when I knew you. We were married.
How long do you think we've been together?
It's a
It's a 16-year-old picture.
Really?
We've been together by the way, we've been together for 17 years and we've been married now for 15. So
No,
yeah.
Only 15? Are you sure?
Yeah.
2000.
7. We met in
There
2005.
you go. Look at you go.
See, I know this stuff. I care.
You do care. You're the best.
So
Well done.
this is the worst stream we've ever done.
It's
Already.
not.
We just got here.
There are far worse ones. Nicole Francis says, hi, Meredith. How are you? And happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And I'm reading that because it makes me want to remember
Yeah.
to wish all of our American friends a happy Thanksgiving this Thursday.
Oh, yeah. It's coming right up. Yeah. We already had ours.
We did ours in October.
We're on top of it over here
You
in
guys
Canada.
call it Columbus Day. We call it Thanksgiving.
Is that what it is in the States? Columbus Day? Same day?
Yeah.
There you go.
Seriously, we do this every year. You're like, really? Columbus Day is Thanksgiving? Every year. Every year Columbus Day is on the same weekend as Thanksgiving.
Well, if any of you guys are
It never
still here
changes.
next year after this stream,
When Dave asks the same question,
yeah, you'll be able to
you
remember.
guys can remind him that he is, I want to say Jack, followed by a 3-letter word. But I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on the stream right now.
I don't know what it is, but you're not. No.
You're Jack Bum.
Okay. Got it. Fair enough. just going to keep drawing my picture.
Please do. JDSCT says, Meredith Finch, LOL, I'm an electrician, so I get it. He gets understanding that you have to ground the electric fence. Because the electricity from your electric fence comes from the ground.
JDSC is electrician. I didn't know that. See, there you go.
Otaku Samurai has a super chat for $4.99. Do you have any favorite covers that you've done? And are there any future projects you can share with us? Anything Marvel? Thank you.
There's not a ton I can share, unfortunately, about what I'm doing right now. I'm doing Walking Dead covers, as you guys know. I just did a couple of covers that I want to show you guys so badly. I can't show it. I think I probably, you know what?
You can't show
it's
it.
So close to solicitations.
You can't show it. You cannot.
Nobody watches this.
Do not.
Anyway, whatever. I just
nobody. Only 306,000 subscribers.
Right.
Not that many people watch the stream, but
but enough. I just did a cover that I really want to show you guys. I'm very, very excited about it, but I can't. Actually, it was 2 covers. So, but yeah, for the most part, I'm doing Walking Dead stuff right now. And I'll have some different stuff coming up eventually, but I'm a little behind, as always.
I'm a Predator says, my stepdad says he and my mom have been happily married for 20 years. LOL. But they've been actually married for 30.
That's how it goes. Hey, 20 years is not bad.
That's pretty good.
I'd say.
Dave?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm trying to find out who said, Lance Boyer says, ooh, a little Pacheco influence on Spawn's hands.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and definitely.
Supersonico says, I spy with my little eye a Pacheco's study stream hands.
Yeah, for sure. Now, these are hands that I've been doing for years. So I want to say, oh, no, these are all mine. But the fact is that, yeah, you guys are totally right. It's all Pacheco. And that's just where I've gotten it from. So now you guys know. And I do hope that some of you guys have given it a try. You don't learn just by watching. You really have to do it. And this is going to be a lot of whiteout. I'm just going to block this in and have to white out I'm going to have to white out. But yeah, I had a great time doing that stream. Eric said he had a really good time with it. Yeah, I think he really enjoyed it. I know Allison McGlone emailed, and by the way, I owe you an email, Allison. She said she got a lot out of it. So I was really happy with that one. Yeah, it was such a big influence for me, and such a legendary artist and a huge loss. So yeah, it was nice to be able to do. And so for all of you guys that were there, thank you very much. And if you weren't there, it's still on YouTube, so check it out.
Jamal Rashid has a super chat for $4.99. Finch family, glad to see you too. 15 years. Wow. Amen. I pray that God blesses you too for 15 more years. Times infinity, Dave. Bless your family, your marriage, and your talents. Amen. Thank you so much, Jamal.
Thank you very, very much. That dog drives me crazy until he calms down. Like
he's so much calmer tonight than he was last week.
Actually, he is. All in all,
that's because he's broken right now.
Yeah, he's been crying just at random. His leg is hurting, and it's kind of worrying me a little bit. Like there's a point where we might have to take him in. I don't know.
He's been off for a couple days. I need to keep him away from Eve. Eve is the one who makes it worse. If I could I'm going to leave Eve in the house for the next few mornings and see if that helps.
So
she rolls him.
For all of you that don't know what she's talking about, Eve is one of our other dogs, and she's
a wolfhound.
She's a wolfhound, and
she weighs 130 pounds.
She's a big dog.
The puppy weighs 50.
Maybe that might be.
Maybe
not as much as Eve.
Yeah. So, and he goes toe to toe with her. Like, make no mistake, he's gonna be boss dog when he gets to be an adult dog, but he's only 6 months old. So. Yeah. And it could be growing pains. I mean,
Well,
I just
and
think
they're
he's
not
like-
they're not overly violent with them,
no,
but they step on them. This is the problem. It's like
He
getting
just might
stepped
have-
on
He
by.
might have a little sprain. So if he's not better in a couple days, I'll call him back.
Yeah.
Tegamo Model Works has a super chat for $5. Hi guys, great Thursday stream, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
You've shown a new generation of Pacheco's artwork and inspired them, which means he lives on. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Yeah, he's one of the all-time greats and one of the all-time originals, there are artists that really pick up parts of what other artists do and end up with a style that is their own. Carlos Pacheco is one of those artists for me that while I can see some influences, I'm not as familiar with his earliest work. So
FYI, that's not 16-year-old you. That's you married to me, you.
16 years ago, this is what I said.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody wants to see this picture.
All right. There you go. That's me 16 years ago with a fishing hat on. And
we were dating.
Yeah, we were dating 16 years ago.
But I knew you then, is what I'm saying.
You did.
So difficult.
Yeah, sorry.
Look at how cute you were. So cute. Little Davy Dave with his fake fishing flies that he bought to put on the hat.
I'm going to quit and protest, just so you know. So the reason why this is going to take so long, I'm sure you guys can already see. The chains alone take me so long to do. To do properly, I can hack them out. And I'm doing this quicker than I would do if this was a cover. But they still take a good amount of time.
Takes time it takes.
That's kind of the thing. And
just like watering horses.
I always remember
takes a certain amount of time to fill a bucket.
There's the it takes the time it takes philosophy versus the Ralph Macchio, who's my I know he's also the Karate Kid, but he's a longtime Marvel editor, legendary editor at Marvel. He was there for well over 30 years, all the way back to the Stanley days. And I worked for him on some of my first stuff at Marvel, and he used to say to me, "Stop polishing the apple."
Extreme maybe says the chains are easier than drawing feet.
They might be easier. They just take forever. That's the issue.
And Hi, I'm a Predator wants to know what's the biggest fish you've caught. She's about 110, 5'4".
Yeah.
What is the biggest fish you've caught, Dave?
I'm going to say about 7 pounds. Not massive, but you know what? It was
My fake cough made me real cough.
Yeah. What kind
7 pounds. When did you catch a 7-pound fish?
Okay, so that was I'm not trying to exaggerate here. Really,
like
that was
maybe 2 pounds.
2 pounds. Okay, whatever, 2 pounds.
Like a 2-pound pickerel is a good sized pickerel.
Is it? Okay, so yeah,
yes.
2 pounds.
Not 7 pounds.
I've caught a decent sized pickerel. Nowhere near like the people win competitions. Did you guys all see? There was a fishing competition, Meredith, that happened like a few months ago, and these guys were they caught some fish and they put lead balls in the fish.
To increase their weight.
Increase the weight, and they got nailed. Anyway.
Because a fish of a certain size is going to weigh within a certain poundage.
Well, and this is a competition with a big prize, right?
Yeah.
So not only do they get nailed, but they are actually no, they're being criminally charged.
Oh, for fraud.
Yes. Crazy.
Happy lay down. Happy lay down. Now we get to listen to Isaac singing while he does his thing in the room next door.
Yeah.
Eric says, that's what I meant to say to Dave about my painting last night. I was polishing the apple too much. Instead, I said I was putting lipstick on a pig. Both were kind of true.
Eric's painting last night actually turned out great.
So funny.
I don't know if Eric, I don't know. No, he's not finished because we still have, like, we're gonna do another session. But yeah, it was looking really good. Somebody
I
asked.
didn't say your painting was good, but it was good.
Thank you, Meredith. Somebody asked before, like I saw just in the chat when we were just starting, if I'm going to do painting again, and yes, we are. What I'd like to do is,
Don't call us right now because the phone's off the hook.
hold on.
All right, thank you, puppy.
I forgot what I was saying. Oh, right. Yeah. We're going to do a painting stream. Eric and I, we were talking about that. I think we talked about that on Thursday. And I also would like to do a video that really breaks down the process that, that we've been working on. A lot of it is Eric. I know that Eric has done something on Gumroad with really our whole process broken down, which you guys can check out on Eric Grove's Gumroad. But I'd like to do that, so that's coming.
I could tell you're painting.
How could you tell?
By the blue paint all over the floor.
Yeah. It was a problem.
Leave the door open because the dog wants to go in and out. Apparently the prize was like some $300,000 boat or something.
Yeah, well, that's definitely fraud.
Yeah. At
that point, I mean, that's a lot of money. You can see why they risked it. But so there's actually video of the organizer, whoever, cutting the fish open and pulling them out while the guys stand there looking grim and other people are yelling at him, "You frauds!"
Oh, that's too bad.
It's very entertaining.
Oh, I said that's too bad and you were entertained. The Three Eyebrows has a super chat for 25 Filipino dollars. Batman and Spawn, only my two most favorite characters in comics. By the way, have you ever secretly drawn real people as characters in any of your books?
Never.
He's put names on things. But
yes, I don't do caricatures. It's not a skill of mine. I know a lot of artists like to do that, and it's very, very cool when they do. Yeah, I don't do that. I'm really reluctant to do that kind of thing anyway, just because. I'll give you an idea or an example. I was drawing Batman, and I put the name of a friend of mine's restaurant on one of the building storefronts. And we had to take it off. Legal saw it because legal looks at all the books and they want to make sure you're not going to get sued. And I actually had to alter it. So I'm very, very careful about that kind of thing. That was a surprise. I've done that kind of thing before, never had any trouble. And you know what? I probably could do it again and not have trouble. Like it's just one of those, like that time somebody happened to look at it and go, you know what? That could be a problem. But yeah.
Brad Scottard has a super chat for $50 US. Hola, David from 75-degree Florida. I had a major blessing this week, so I want to share with you. You have no idea how your stream and quick tips help sharpen the skills of us artists out here. Real-time art instruction and Miss Meredith rocks. Bless you both. Aw, thank you so much, Brad, and congratulations on your blessing.
Yeah, that's great.
It's always nice when you can something happens unexpectedly, or that you worked hard for and your hard work is rewarded.
That's always the most unexpected. truthfully.
When hard work is rewarded.
Yeah, you
I agree with that.
you put so much into it, and you don't expect it to. I'm walking away, and you don't expect. Like I know for me, trying to break into comics. Hey,
Otis.
we need a new dog.
Stop.
We need a stuffed dog.
No, look, he's so cute. He's practically looks like a stuffed dog. Odie.
I can't.
Happy come.
I came up from work today, and
Destroyed the liner in your boot. Did you notice? Did you notice that when you put your boot on today?
yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. That's not even what I was gonna say.
That's what you get for leaving your boots by the back door instead of putting them away.
He found a package of a bunch of rolls of toilet paper.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
That
I
was-
didn't go outside today because I knew it was hurting.
See,
We had to
yeah.
burn off the energy somehow.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. Right, puppy? Little discouraged says, I want to see Dave tackle One Punch Man at some point.
That would be a lot of fun. What I'd like to do, actually, coming up as soon as we possibly can, I'd like to do the Green Power Ranger. I don't know if you saw Meredith, but
I saw this is I'm gonna be honest, this is a little frustrating for me because several times now, including with Carlos Pacheco, people have posted that somebody's passed, and then somebody posts this is fake news. And then
you find out that it's
people continue to post, and then you find out it is in fact true.
right.
I'm like, you know what? Don't post it's fake news if you don't know if it's fake news. Like, if that many people are posting, it's probably true.
Well, unfortunately, it was true.
It was true. And as was Carlos Pacheco's death.
Somebody posted that was fake news.
I'm not even going to say who. Somebody said, it's not true. He hasn't died.
Well,
But it was true, and he had died.
oh, he needs it.
And then it becomes a thing that didn't need to be a thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's too bad.
It's unfortunate. And I saw that again today when the announcement was made about the unfortunate passing of a very young man.
He was 51.
Yeah, young. I feel like that's young. I can say that. Maybe if you're 20, you don't feel like that's young. But when you're my age, it feels young.
It does. It really does. Darn it.
And
Okay, I blew it.
somebody posted it was fake news, which obviously it wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, the connection that he made with a generation of people that I think are very, very heartbroken that he is gone.
49. I
Oh, 49.
He used to 51. I thought he was 49.
You know what? I'm 50. It was a year away.
So he was literally my age.
I rounded up and not down. So,
Literally my age.
yes, way too young.
Yeah.
Either one is too young, but yeah. All right. Eraser. So I do this from time to time. I'm drawing and I use I do that too. I don't give it enough time to dry and it smudges. But I also, this stuff, if your whiteout's not perfectly dry, it kind of smudges in a bad way from the eraser. I do that. Basically every cover that I ever do, I do it at least once. And I did it here. All right.
Adam Meyer has a super chat. Dave, he wants to know for $5, how is your create your own project going?
It's coming along well. I have a block of pages that I'm working on right now, and I'm looking forward to being finished pretty soon. I swear, there's always things that kind of come along that seem to make it a little longer than I'd really like it to be, but it's coming right along. So I'll be finished pretty soon. certainly within 6 months.
Six months?
Yep. Shorter, less than.
I was hoping it'd be less.
It will be. It will be. And then from there, the next project that I do won't take anywhere near as long to come out because I won't be drawing it double-sized, inking everything myself. I do think I'd really like to work with an inker again on something just in terms of time. Penciling, I can do a page a day. Inking, even if it's not oversized, it takes me twice as long. So it would be nice just to be able to get a book out. And, you know, penciling, I can put everything I have into it. And when you work with a really good inker, it's not like the quality is diminished. It's actually probably much better. I'm really not as good an inker as really any professional inker. So.
All right. Walter Kumar has a super chat for $5. Walter wants to know, where can I buy a Finch Flock shirt with the bird logo, please? Also, Meredith is only 5'4". Your personality is so large for such a tiny human.
And he means that in a good way.
I'm sure he does. I know that's how you feel, Dave. You feel like, I can't believe I got this much person in this size of a package.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a shock to my whole family. They were all thrilled.
Oh, they are all thrilled.
You know what? They like you. They really do. Shockingly. I think they were reserved about you. And then you won them over.
And then they really got to know me.
Right. And, you know, it's been trying to rebuild the relationship ever since.
And thank you to Eric for pointing Walter to the place where he can get his Finch Flock merch. And Mr. Hijack wants to know, is this for charity, David?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Or is it a variant cover for the crossover?
This is for charity. I forgot, by the way. This is for charity. So once this is finished, I'm going to be posting it up as an auction, and we're going to be auctioning it for charity. And this is for the Angela Rose House. I really wanted to get some pictures to show you guys. And I kind of jumped the gun with this a little bit. I was going to start in a couple of weeks. I started a little bit early, and I asked a couple of days ago, and everybody's busy. It's all volunteer. I don't have pictures, which I'm a little sad about, but yeah, this is for Angela Rose House, which is a home. It's temporary housing and resources for recent immigrants to Canada, refugees coming to Canada. So it's not a big charity that you know, all your money is kind of going into a charity, and then some of it goes to people. It's all volunteer. It's 100% goes to the Angela Rose House. And so yes, this is for charity. And that's really the main reason why I want to make this as nice as I possibly can. Can't go quiet. Freaking me out.
Just reading Mike Linux. He says, "Oh no, Spawn looks like he's gonna catch Batman."
They're buddies. They're on the same side.
Dan Genovese says, "You're a good man, Dave," which I agree.
Thank you, Dan.
At least one of us has to be a good person. Might as well be you.
Oh, you're
Supersonico says, "We love you, Mayor. You know that, right?" See, and then there's Supersonico making me feel good about myself.
He doesn't know you that well.
It's clearly. If he did, he would know.
You know what? By now he knows you pretty well.
I'm not a good person.
Yeah, you are. I mean, you have your moments where, you know, I'm like, why did we, why?
It's all right.
But so do I.
I don't know that this is why only the good die young. I'm never going to die because I'm never going to fix what's wrong with me. Oh, here's a kitty to help.
I'm going to tell you what's wrong with Meredith right now. Let's have a serious conversation about exactly what's wrong with Meredith. Meredith is not a bad person at all.
Honest, apparently,
but yes.
Honest to a fault.
Yes. There are times that it's, you know, I'm like, no. Oh. Some things didn't need to be said.
And yet I say them anyway. Right, little princess? Mr. Hijack wants to know, Meredith, would you ever do a Trinity story with Bat, Soups, and Wonder Woman? I don't think I would.
No? Why not?
I'm not a writer anymore.
You
so out of it right now.
So never. You couldn't ever foresee a time when you might do it again.
At this moment in my life.
Right.
Just like I couldn't foresee having another child. I can't foresee writing again.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I won't change.
Right. But right now.
But right at this moment, no, I don't see it for myself. Cat has something to say. She's purring into the microphone. Oh, here's a cat story. More farm stories. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
It's the only time I would ever encourage my dog to chase a cat. So I'm out working in the barn. Was it Friday?
Yeah. Yes.
I think
Friday.
it must have been Friday.
Right.
Because I told the story at dinner on Saturday, which is why you're rolling your eyes.
I clearly remember the story and
I saw it while I was outside
total
working,
detail because it was very important.
I saw a black and white cat cutting across the corner of our property. I didn't think anything of it. But I have seen him before. Like, I know he's in the area. So I was like, oh, yeah, there's that story. Well, in the afternoon, I was down in the barn, and all of a sudden I heard Lilo freaking out.
Lilo was the cat, by the way.
Lilo was our barn cat. And Otis is always outside with me. So I was convinced that Otis was chasing the cat. So I start heading into the arena and I'm calling Otis to get off the cat. And Otis came out from behind me. As I go further into the arena, I see Lilo come ripping down the side of the arena, chased by the very black and white cat. Obviously a feral tomcat. And at that point I was like, Otis, get him. And then Otis and I went running for him. If that cat comes back, he is one bold cat because Otis and I were hunting him. And he cannot come and beat up my cat. She was sore for 2 days afterward. Every time I picked her up, she cried. She didn't want to be picked up, and she always wants to be picked up.
I feel somewhat bad.
Because she was sore in her left hind. Yeah.
That cat?
She's the sweetest thing ever.
Oh, she is, yeah.
She's the best cat ever.
She leaves
half dead
scars that take slightly less time to heal than I'm sure other cats.
Oh, your scars. Navy Shark says super chat for $10. Hey Dave, hey Meredith, hello Finch Flock. This is for charity. Here's my small contribution. Oh, thanks, Navy Sharks.
Thank you very much, Navy Sharks. I really appreciate it.
And Chisa Musician has a super chat for $2. Has Dave ever tried martial arts?
Yeah. You know what? Sorry, hold on. I'm kind of multitasking here. Darn it. Okay, hold on. Here we go. I'm copying a link and opening it. How do I? Okay, I'm copying it. I'm opening it. Here we go. Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm copying the link and opening it.
Oh,
We have a guest.
we do?
Yes. I'm going to bring him in. This is everyone. I didn't want to really announce this too soon and say anything. I kind of wanted to, keep this, as a surprise. This is a huge deal for me. I think, as all of you guys will know, one of my absolute favorite artists. We've done a book of the week of his work before. I've talked about him all the time. He's one of my core, most fundamental influences, really, from early on. A very, very innovative artist and an incredibly popular artist. And I'm very, very thrilled and honored to be able to have Kelly Jones on. So I'm going to bring him on right now.
Hi, David. I am incredibly honored by what you just said, because I feel the same way about what you do and your work. That that really knocks me out. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on. We have not actually met. Now,
No.
I do a lot of conventions. You don't do very many conventions at all.
Well, raising kids, and most of my stuff comes out during fall, so they have me pretty booked through the summer. I'm trying to do more shows now because the kids are older, and I plan to do more just because I have a lot of stuff coming out, and that seems to be and I enjoy doing shows. I used to do them all the time, but no, we haven't met. There's a lot of people I'd like to meet. You were right at the top of the list.
Well, thank you. I don't know what to say to hear that. It's very nice of you to say.
It's all true. I've my enjoyment about what you do and the level at what you do, you would be great at any time in the period of comics. So it is something that, at least when I look at it and I look at your work, the nuts and bolts go away. It's just sheer enjoyment, and that not saying anything about anyone else, that's very rare. And I'm such a fan of really good art in comics that when you see something that makes you react emotionally, that doesn't happen that often.
It doesn't. It's really true. It really doesn't. It's such a special thing when you find it.
Yes, it is.
I remember,
and so when I would see your work, no matter what you did, and that was the thing that struck me. It didn't matter what the tone of the story was, what character it was. It all had this really good emotional core from it. Like, I was looking at something where if it was superhero, perfect. If it was a horror thing, perfect. If it was male or female, perfect. And that's rare. That doesn't happen that much. And then to see just your general overall skills, very rare.
Thank you very much. So I have a million questions, and I'm going to save them because I also wanted to. So now we talked quickly about doing an inking stream, and really, kind of going into depth about the tools that you use and your process. I know for me, I have so many questions, not only just about the core process, but also some of the textures that you get. Your work is so incredibly textural. Even zipatones, which you really rarely see. I remember, for me, Dead Man is it's such a special book for me. It's the first time I ever saw your work. I remember buying I can't remember what magazine it was in, but I bought the magazine because there was an interview with you in it. And you were talking about how you had to negotiate back and forth with your editor about which zipatones you were going to leave in and which ones you're going to take. And I'm like, I can't believe an editor would be telling you how to do anything.
Well, one of the good things, and I know what you're talking about, was I was working with an editor who was very, very mainstream.
Mhm.
And so the things I was presenting uh, struck her as odd and conflicting. And she didn't understand why I would do these kind of things. She didn't get that I was drawing a black and white book, though they were coloring it.
Right.
Um, and yeah, I would have to negotiate with her over a lot of my use of zip because I wanted I was afraid of how it would be colored.
Mhm.
And since I always work in the sense that I would want, if the book was to be published black and white, would it work? And finally she did begin to understand that and allow that, because I would use uh crayons and zipatone and my thumb.
I have
Uh
to think that some of the reaction to the book probably helped too.
it did after it comes out. If you're lucky enough to get the assignment that you always wanted and are smart enough not to tell them how you're going to do it, and then again lucky enough that it can get through to readers, um, that's a lot of stuff to get through. But if you
Mhm.
can do that, then everyone will see what it is you do, and they make the choice, they make the vote, and then at that point, the people you're dealing with will acquiesce to it.
Yeah.
And I had spent 6 years at Marvel prior to coming to DC, trying to make that case, and uh, it wasn't working. I always thought I was a Marvel guy until I got to DC and realized I was a DC guy. And I don't mean in character love of characters or anything.
Oh, I know
Just
exactly what you mean. Yeah.
yes, just in presentation of the art, that
Yep.
that they would allow for this kind of thing. And I'm such a emotional artist rather than I'm that's what I started to put myself into. And I wanted that. If I was getting a reaction, I thought, well, maybe the reader would get the reaction.
Mhm.
And Marvel at that time didn't see it. DC did. I mean,
Yeah.
DC at that time said, okay, fine. I mean, they didn't even question that.
Well, there have been times they've been much more open to
Yep.
experimentation. Now, that's
Yep.
not always true. Marvel certainly has done that too, and they've had a great track record that way too. But
Yep.
definitely, there are times that DC's been more open to different styles. But I don't want to cover too much of this right now because I
Okay.
really want to save some of this for
Okay.
when we actually do some
I think that would be,
drawing
yeah,
together.
especially if I'm inking something and I'm not a detail penciler. So uh, I love to do a lot of my drawing with my brush and with my
Mhm.
tools and just see what happens. And I've been that way. I mean, everything's there. It could be inked by somebody, but
Mhm.
if I'm inking myself, that's where the real joy to me is in that.
Yeah, I'm sort of there. I still, I love
Well,
inking.
look, you don't have to do anything. I uh You actually, your tutorials are fabulous.
Well,
If
thank
I were
you.
to ever teach art, people would hate it because there would be no drawing. There would all be how I would think to get to that point. I'm such an idea guy. So when it comes to actually drawing, uh, I probably am would be very disappointing
Now
because
it's not my place to disagree with what you're saying, so I don't want to do that. I
no, I look at
disagree.
it, I go, "Hey, that's right on. That's really good." I've never thought of it that way. And that's one of the things where probably I'm frustrating to people because when they ask me, I stumble over it. And I've been doing this forever, and I think, well, I really should think this out. I have a publisher wanting me, and I've rejected this for a long time to put out a book of my stuff because I don't know what I would say.
Mhm.
And I don't know how to go about doing it because it's all very impressionistic. It's when it strikes me.
I
And
think that would be actually a lot more interesting.
well, I started writing it down for them, and they liked it. I read it, and I was horrified. I'm like going, "This I sound like an idiot," 'cause, I'm not particularly artsy fartsy, but I
Mhm.
am, I react. Like, when I look at your work, it's very emotional to me. I just look at it and go, wow. And I
Well,
don't try to understand it. I
yeah,
just
I really think artsy fartsy for me is a term that applies to people that really are doing nothing worthwhile,
yeah,
but
I
don't
agree.
talk
And
about it
I'm
a
a
lot.
production guy.
Yeah.
I was taught you produce. And
Mhm.
I was very blue collar. And the people I was dealing with, especially in when I took Batman, hey, fine, do something different, but you have to get the book in. You
Yeah.
have to give us 22 pages in a cover every month.
Yeah, and that's a massive, massive challenge, and that was some incredible work and so
Well, it was 3
consistent over a long
years, and
time. Yeah,
I that's where I went to school.
yeah, yeah.
That
That's
that
some of
was
my favorite
there were
work.
days there are days where you're, physically exhausted, and your life takes over, and you have to sit down to that blank page, and that's
Mhm.
where you you really discover who you are.
Yes,
I
I hear quite a bit about people saying, how do you overcome artist block? Well, I know how. You have a deadline, and you just
for
have to
me,
do it.
it came to being happy and rested.
Uh,
If I had
yeah,
enough rest and I was in a good mood, I don't try to understand that. I've never really had an artist block. What I have is an artist frustration where what I see that those ideas would be there and they physically weren't coming out. And that's when I realized it's because I was tired.
I think that's actually really good advice that I could probably take. I never get enough sleep,
Yeah,
but
It is. It's just it's one of those things where when I would think about it, that's when see I wrote that stuff for this book, and then I thought this is stupid. It's like what be rested and be in a good mood.
yeah,
How do you do that?
the
You know,
most obvious advice, and it's so
but I
not
found
you.
that's what worked
Yeah.
when I had enough rest, and maybe it's not sleep, but just so what I did during that before I did Batman Monthly and after I did Batman Monthly, there was something I did. Before Batman Monthly, I would draw everywhere. I would take my stuff and do everything. When I started doing Batman regularly, and I had been putting out a lot of work, but this was different because they would execute you if you were late. So, and I was working for Denny O'Neil and Doug Minch
Mhm.
and all these guys who had been doing it professionally for so long. They didn't put up with crap.
Oh, yeah, they don't mess around, those
No, they
guys. They
didn't.
didn't mess around.
And in those days, they'd fire you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what I did realize is that if I just kept it in my studio, didn't work anywhere but my studio, and outside of my studio, didn't do things related to comics or art or anything, just go with my wife and go to dinner or go see a movie or whatever, but not art. But
Mhm.
when I would come to my studio, I was charged. I mean, I was ready to go. And the ideas kept coming. I mean, I would read the script, I would read Doug's scripts, and I would think about them, and uh, that would charge the battery. And I was in a good mood, and then I was liking what I was doing,
Yeah.
and that would spawn you to the next page. If a page took me all day, it took me all day. But if a page took me 3 hours, then I was done for the day.
Yeah, I definitely tried to approach it that way. It's nice to get those bonus days when you have an easier
Yep.
page, but
Well, we'll spend, we artists, David, will spend our lives in a studio. And
mhm.
then we'll get to a certain age, go, I wasted my life. What was I doing? But while we're doing it, what we always forget is we're having far more fun than everybody else.
I think that's absolutely true.
Yep.
I think that's
And then
true.
that's a great trade.
Yeah.
I can work. People will say to me, "You work 7 days a week during that?" I said, "But I was loving every minute of it."
Mhm.
You know, and if that happens, warts and all, you can come back and look at your stuff sometime later, and because I wouldn't look at my stuff. You just begin to see the mistakes, missed opportunities, and
Yeah.
and later on, once that emotion, that feeling went away, I look at it and go, "This isn't bad." And I've
Mhm.
never done that before. I always
Okay.
used to just hate it. But I'd
Well,
come back later and say, "This isn't bad."
it takes,
And
I think, time to kind of get that maturity to be able to pull back a
Well,
little bit.
so many other artists I know never said that. They were saying how they suffered over it,
Mhm.
and I thought, well, I wonder why am I different? And then it was said to me by a writer. They said, well, you were doing like 25 pages a month, and they were doing maybe 5 or 6. So you weren't spending all that time gripping over it.
Yep. Yeah, and the work ends up, I think, being better and kind of more true because you just have to put it out there, and it's just what's in your head on the page.
Well,
But
once
let
you do it, it's the reader's work. It's not mine
yeah,
anymore.
that is absolutely true. But let's
Yeah.
save some of this.
Okay.
You have a cover that I've wanted to talk about.
All
We
right.
talked about this last week. It is a cover for Batman Deadly Duo. I'm going to put it up on the screen right now. Hold on. This always takes me a second.
It's okay.
We're so not a professional operation
I'm
here.
not either.
Okay, here it comes. There it is. So it's a cover for Batman the Joker Deadly Duo. It is a beautiful, beautiful cover. Yeah, it's
Well, thank you.
it's everything that I love about your work.
Thank you.
There's actually here. Let's take a look at a black and white version here.
Yeah.
It just the brush quality is unparalleled, I think, and you really don't see that much nowadays, or really at all. It's kind of a
Well, all
lost
my
art.
influences, a lot of my influences are by artists nobody's heard of. And I don't mean that to sound again artsy fartsy. It's just stuff I grew up with.
Mhm.
And it's stuck in my head. And a lot of these guys were pulp artists from the 30s and 40s.
Well, I'm dying to hear who some of the artists were.
I
So yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely
they
take
were
some time to talk about that.
yeah, we can do that on the when I'm
Yeah.
inking something. Uh,
Uh,
but I was very big into comics were important, but there was a lot of other things that were important. Film and these old pulp magazines, which I was lucky enough to have. I was able to get them. So I'd read these stories and they had illustrations to them, and the illustrations just knocked me out.
mhm.
And they stayed with me. Well, they were in cheap little magazines on newsprint, and the illustrations were beautiful. And so I tried to imitate what I saw. I don't know how they did it. I still don't know how. I don't know if they were on scratchboard or how they did it, but I tried to imitate it as best I could. And um, I found that when I got into comics, it wasn't probably something I could do until I got more confident and quicker.
Mhm.
Did I understand how to apply it? And
Oh, yeah, to be able to do, like, all the things that are just in this one picture, the different techniques, this is not something you could jump into as a young artist and be able to pull off unless you had, years. And, even then, I think it takes time to develop as an artist to get to a point where it's even worthwhile to
well,
be
yeah,
that experimental.
you look for the opportunities. And in a piece like this, I wanted to one make the composition work,
Mhm.
and that's first. And then after that, it's how to punch the images that people have to look at and hold them so that those images work. And so texturing is the only way I know how to do it, because I always feel like with coloring I can't really control that. I so think in black and white that I don't when a colorist ever asks me, well, how do I want to do it? I just go primary colors, and if you don't know what else to do, green.
Yeah, and don't go too dark so it
No,
covers.
I always say black is a color. So I've already done that. So don't
Right.
compete with it.
Well, and the colors turned out beautifully for the
Yeah, they
picture.
did. Actually, it was
Yeah.
beautifully colored by Michelle Madsen.
Yeah, she did an amazing job, and
Yeah.
everything shows up, and you can see the difference looking at the black and white versus the color. All of the detail really shows through, and that's always such a pet peeve of mine. You put so much work into all this little detail, and it just gets obliterated. And it
Yeah,
really,
I always tell them that the only color I say no to is brown.
yeah,
Uh, but
it's hard one to avoid.
other than that, I don't have a problem with anything a colorist does per se, other than if they try to overproduce it, you
Mhm.
know. And I always just say, hey, you'll make your easiest money on me. Primary colors, like the first season of Star Trek. I said, go look at the first season of Star Trek. Halos, bright. I've already done all the indications, so all you have to do is make those figures pop. It should be pretty easy.
Well, and the lighting is so perfectly consistent. And this is one thing. It's such a big deal for me when I'm trying to learn from an artist, when the lighting is just perfectly consistent across everything. It makes it easy for me to understand. And some artists, a lot of artists, really, the light just jumps everywhere. Just
Well,
even on
they're not fully composing.
Yeah, I think that's true.
And for me also, if you are, when I approach a cover, I try to tell a story in it. I don't, first of all, Mark drew a fabulous book and just simply gorgeous.
Yeah.
And when they sent it to me to look at and said, would you consider doing the cover? About 5 pages in, I went, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
And frankly, so good. I don't know, even at his level, I wondered how many people are going to get how good this is, because as you just said, his lighting is consistent. So I wanted to respect that and do it in what I was doing. And so I tried to pull out all of those old tricks, because I felt he was being very classic illustrative in his presenting of his story. And at that point, you just don't see that anymore.
Yeah, it's such a rare thing.
It is.
But you could, yes.
Can I interrupt with a super chat?
Okay.
From Dustin Rogers for $1.99, who says, "I love your art. Your Batman is GOAT. Thank you so much, Kelly."
Well, I appreciate that. That does my heart good. When I was told many years ago, when I took Batman, I took it because of Doug Wildey, the fellow who did Johnny Quest.
Mm-hmm.
Had seen something I'd done and he'd liked it, and he'd asked me how I did it, or how the whole thing behind it. And I said, I told him, and he says, okay, what you need to do to get better, and this was a few years before Batman, was, he says, take something monthly and then judge yourself at the 12th issue of that first year. And he says, don't judge your first issue, but judge your last issue. And he had said very nicely, but very like a professor, that's how you'll know what you'll learn to be an artist, and you'll see how good what you have.
Yeah.
And the only advice he gave is try not to repeat your imagery, which sounds easy and is incredible.
That is the toughest advice. It really is.
Because you'll find an image you really like and you want to keep exploring it, but you can't. Or everyone will say you're just doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
So when I did that, I was when I came to the end of that, every month I thought about what he said, and when I came to the end, I was so exhausted. It's like that I wondered if I wondered if any of that really would soak in. It did, but at the time I didn't realize it. And it wasn't until some years later that happened. And I remember Denny O'Neil told me a few years after I'd left that he had felt that was a very special run to him. And he had asked me, did I know that was going on at the time? I said, I don't think you can do that. I don't think I couldn't say, I'm going to make that happen. You can sit down and say, I'm going to give it my all and do my best. But comics are so collaborative. If your writing isn't there, if your inker isn't there, if the colorist isn't there, it doesn't matter. And it just all came together. So I appreciate hearing that to this day, because I was lucky enough to have, Wrightson and Neil Adams and people come up to me and tell me that some years later. And then, which if I knew they were looking at it, then I'd have froze. I was just trying to make my writer happy and not piss off my editor being late. That was it.
Yeah, it's all you can do, really.
That is it.
So you guys can find Kelly's cover for Batman Deadly Duo by Mark Silvestri. I think really Mark's best work that he's ever done.
I would totally agree, and that is saying something because Mark is fabulous.
He really is. Yeah, he's my
So I
biggest.
think any artist, the compliment you can give to any artist is after a long career, the latest thing they did is the best thing they did. You're not going to hurt their feelings.
Oh no, not at all.
No.
So we have a link in the description, and I see Russ Hicks has the information up here. He's posting it. So check the description, click on the link, and get your copy of Kelly's incredible cover for Batman. And definitely look forward to. We are going to be doing this for a longer period of time and actually working together. And I have a million questions about process, and I want to see the tools. And I tend to be now. I'm using a lot of these, kind of FACO tools that we all use nowadays. You really can't get some of those effects. And so I really want to try to follow what you're doing and use the tools that you're using.
Dave, you're right on. And I found that tool wise, I'm easy. It's like, here's one. But I'm a pretty, I have found that a lot of tools sell themselves on the fact that you think it will make it quicker and easier and you don't have to reload. But the results aren't going to be as good as the ones that still are a pain in the butt.
It's true, and I fight my tools all the time. And
me too. And if I could, the way brushes used to be, you couldn't get a bad one. Now you just have to suck it up and say, I'm going to spend a lot of money to find one good brush. But that one good brush will last a long time.
Oh, quills are that way now too.
Yeah, and quills too. Better.
Yeah.
And quills too. And inking is such a organic thing that I try not to I use pencils as just the foundation, and then I just go to I want happy mistakes and I want things to happen. There's times I'll look at something and I'll just boom, change it. And it will all come together. But if the tools aren't there, it will suck. And so I actually draw small pieces to break in my tools and just ink with them to get the brush to get a muscle memory, to break in a quill.
Well, let's definitely talk about this in detail coming up very, very soon. We're going to work out exactly when we can do it. I'd like to, maybe even later this week, but I don't want to, no pressure. We'll
work something out. I'll get some stuff to get, I have some stuff that I can get prepared that I know will need some certain different kind of tools and show a lot of different stuff. And that would be interesting,
All right.
I've never done that before. Great. I've never shown it. No one's ever asked, but I've never shown it, but I can do that.
Well, that's great. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to us and, teasing coming up and being able to see you actually work. I don't know what I would have given to be able to see that when I was starting out, just to, it just was not available. And it's a huge blessing.
If there's a good thing about today is you can do this. Yeah. The same here. There were so many people I would want to see that you'd have to go to a show and hopefully they were doing something.
And even then it's rarely really the full,
because they're not in their studios.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be really great. I'm very excited about it.
Me too.
Thank you again. Everyone definitely check out the cover. Link is in the description. So, make sure to get your copy. And thank you very much, Kelly, for coming on. And we'll definitely talk to you very, very soon.
Thank you. It was a lot of fun, Dave. I totally look forward to it.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right.
Are you dying right now? You had so much fun.
Yeah, it's Kelly Jones.
I know.
I mean, you guys know, right?
I mean, Dave's been a Kelly Jones fan. I knew the name Kelly Jones as one of the first comic names.
Yes. Well, okay. Truthfully, he's clearly a human being. I mean, I just talked to him. But you
mean not an art god?
No, he is that also. But it's surreal just to be able to talk to him like a person. So yeah, I cannot wait to do that.
With kids and everything, Dave.
I know. Yeah, we have stuff in common.
That being said, you're going to be up till midnight doing this spawn piece.
I will be. We'll have 3 viewers by then, but you know.
Too funny.
So yeah, I think that's going to be really, really incredible. When I started the YouTube channel, I never crossed my mind that I would be able to do something like this. You know, we've had so many incredible guests, and
it's amazing.
And yeah, I think this one's going to be very, very special. So yeah, it's a big thrill.
Hanging out with Kelly Jones.
Yeah. Well, and
Devon Vo says no book of the week tonight.
Nope.
Devon Vo, you just got 15 minutes with Kelly Jones.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely decided, okay, you know, I'd
no book of the week for you.
I thought, you know what? I'd love to do a Kelly Jones book of the week because we've done it before, but I have so many and I'd love to do another one, and we will very, very soon coming up again. I think it's due. But I thought, yeah, it's so much more special to actually have him on himself and be able to, you know, talk to him about what he does. And he's so incredibly open with his thought process, you know?
Yeah.
And it's funny that he feels like, you know, I think it's so common for artists to feel like you don't have anything really to say about it because you really put everything on the page. But the philosophy behind the work, it really can teach you a lot.
Adam Meyer has a super chat for $5, and Adam says Kelly Jones fixed the audio video sync.
Oh, how do you like that?
There you go.
There you go. So it was bad all the way up till then. Well, that's great. I don't think I'm going to do the intro anymore. That's what's doing it.
Because you don't start with the intro and then you play the intro.
And then it screws it up. So I won't do that again.
Tank Mode Monoworks is a super chat for $2. Book of the week. We just got Legend of the Week. Amen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
So I have a feeling I'm basically going to get all my inks done, like my brush inks on this picture. And then
going to bed.
And then Mara's going to go to bed and we'll be here.
I could just go now.
Don't you dare. I have you till 10.
Oh, I'm so tired.
Did you fall asleep?
No, I didn't fall asleep. I'm just yawning, taking a yawn break. It is post 9 o'clock. And here's what I will say.
Okay.
It's post 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how many people are watching because it's not showing up on my screen. I do know that we only have 211 likes, and that is simply not acceptable, especially given the fact that you just saw Kelly Jones. So I'm going to be 212. It is time for you to hit that like button and subscribe. Subscribe.
Everybody's subscribed. I think
306,000 people have subscribed. That is not the whole world. It is not even the whole world's artistic community. If you want to be an artist, if you want to be great, I can say this because I'm your wife and I love you. You need to subscribe. Subscribe to the David Finch YouTube channel where you get to have amazing art streams, see how it's done, see the mistakes as they happen, and listen to Dave talk to legends like Kelly Jones. I feel like I'm doing like an infomercial right now.
You kind of are.
What now I'm going to drop and you too can get this for the low price of free. All you have to do is click the subscribe button.
It slaps, it chops. Is that, I don't know. You know what I mean though, right?
Yeah, I do. Love that guy. ShamWow guy.
He passed away.
I know.
It's a shame.
Years ago now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I still only see 212 likes. How's that possible? I must be glitching.
Maybe. Luke Forwardson says, I was a subscriber, I believe, before the Monday Night Draw was even invented. I remember watching Dave's old videos. Yeah, that goes back a long time.
One of the first 10,000, Luke, because when Dave started Monday Night Draw, that's how many viewers, like subscribers, he had.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, actually, well, and I've said this so many times, but I did Jimmy Reyes' show, and I saw somebody say, "Hey, Jimmy, you're not streaming. Jimmy needs to start streaming again." But yeah, I did his show, and he said, "You've got 11,000 subscribers," and I had no idea. And so I thought, wow, yeah, foolish to not do something with it, and here we are.
I refreshed my stream, which kept my chat surprisingly. And now we have 401, and now my looks like my count is rolling, because now it says 402. I had a frozen like count. Nobody wants that.
No. The horror.
Cal horror. Zandivar wants to know, Dave, have you ever dabbled in martial arts?
Oh, right. Yeah. We had that question and I missed it. I'm sorry. Yes, I did Taekwondo for years when I was a kid, which means obviously that I am a deadly weapon.
Only after he eats things that don't agree with him. Then you truly are a deadly weapon.
You know what though? When I was a kid, I thought I totally was, because at the time, that's when like karate and everything was like, that was, you had to register your hands as a deadly weapon, only kind of thing. So I thought, oh yeah, I'm super tough.
You did not.
Oh, come on. I was a kid. I thought I was pretty tough.
You know what? Everybody was into karate in the 80s, thanks to Bruce Lee.
Yep. Enter the Dragon.
I can't tell you how many times I watched Enter the Dragon. My parents both have black belts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And not just in karate, but I think in Hapkido as well.
I never got a black belt.
On the other hand, only have a yellow belt.
See, you are not a deadly weapon.
I'm not, because you know what? The boys were mean. They were mean, and I didn't want to keep going because I didn't want to get hurt.
That is a good reason. Yeah. I do remember that, because you'd have sparring, right?
Yeah.
And you put on pads.
Yeah. No, nobody had pads.
Okay. Well, we had pads.
I didn't grow up in Windsor, Ontario. I grew up in like Hicksville, Madoc. There was like 700 people in my whole town. We were doing it in a high school gym. Nobody had pads.
Okay. Well, we had pads,
and the boys were not nice.
Yeah, there were definitely people that got a little serious. And it would be, I was a kid, and there were adults in the class too. And I'm telling you, some of those guys
didn't hold back for the kids either.
They did not hold back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, karate, all those things. I think it's great, and it's a very healthy thing, and it also kind of attracts a few people that are maybe a little crazy, and they're not holding back for anyone.
Yep. All right, I'm going to read some chats. Sir Lester Griffin says, I'm not a Finch fan myself, but speaking as a fellow artist, he is an outstanding teacher, and I've watched many of his drawing videos.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
And Dogface says, new subscriber. Your videos improve my art so much in such little time. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Yeah, I've got my own style, and I'm very, very much an early image, inspired artist. And I mean, that's what I love, and I kind of wear that on my sleeve. It's not for everyone, but I do hope that the videos that I'm doing are useful, even if it's not your taste, because so much of it really is a universal skill. And unfortunately, if the way that I'm drawing really doesn't speak to you, I draw in all my videos. It makes it a little tough, but I do hope that you can. And I do think there are so many things you can get out of it, regardless of how you actually draw.
Russ Hicks says, Eric and I waited for years to see when Dave would put up a new video back in the day.
Yeah, it's kind of feeling like that right now. I did a video, and so I know what my next video is going to be. I did so many conventions, and I'm still kind of trying to recover my schedule from that. So it's going to be like I'd like to do a video this week.
The drawings aren't really on the camera.
Oh, sorry. I'd like to do let me make sure that I'm not zoomed in or something.
You're going off. Like I can see.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying here. I'm covering a lot of ground.
That's Henry.
Oh.
You know Henry.
Yeah.
Russ Hicks says, you grew up in Hicksville, Meredith? I love that town. And a super chat from a ramen night for $2 who says, I was also a yellow belt.
There you go. I finally made it to, and I'm going to tell you what stopped me. So I made it to blue belt. And then I think they realized that too many people were kind of, getting to the limit of belts. And all of a sudden all the belts had stripes. And so there'd be like a white belt with a yellow stripe and then 2 yellow stripes and then finally a yellow belt. And then you'd have, anyway, and it went all the way through. And so once I realized I had to do 2 red stripes, and then I went, okay,
That's done.
I'm a teenager now. I got other things I want to do with my time, and I quit. And actually, it wasn't just me. My mother was so annoyed by it. She just thought it was a scam, which I do think it was. I mean, to all of a sudden come up with different belts just so you can, because they make so much of their money from testing. And I understand, but, it doesn't mean I need to pay it. Yeah, we didn't. And so I never ultimately became an actual deadly weapon.
So disappointing.
If I would have stuck around for another month, I could throw ninja stars in the whole works. I could turn invisible.
Think of what you would have done with your life.
Like American Ninja.
Yeah. Dan Genovese says Hicksville is actually a town near me.
There you go.
Not that Hicksville. Too funny.
And you wonder if the town near Dan is where they actually, came up with the name. Maybe.
No. I think they've been using the word hick for a long time, Dave.
Yeah, that town's been there for a long time. You don't know.
Maybe somebody from that town was a hick, and that just made everybody use the word Hicksville. Yeah.
So I really wanted to show you guys.
That's the story.
I really wanted to show you guys a collection of some of the pictures that we've gotten so far for the farm.
Oh, the farm logo.
Yes.
We'll do that next week.
So yeah, I think we'll do that next week. We're definitely running a little behind.
Yeah, I want to be able to put them together.
Okay.
Because there have been some amazing ones.
They really have. Yeah, it's been incredible.
Wake me up when it's over.
Oh, wake you up. I mean, you wake up. Whatever. The pain.
Huh?
I said the pain.
It is pain. Captain Supercat says there's a great New Zealand comic called Hicksville. Crazy. Who knew what I was starting? Paper Surface LLC. I practiced various martial arts for years. Figured out later that I only used it to learn form of movement. Outside of that, I got a black leather belt from my mother at 16. He got his own black belt.
Probably a lot more useful. Look, I think a lot of the MMA more like kind of stuff, oriented stuff. Well, this is what happened. This is what happened to a lot of martial arts is Hoist Gracie and the Gracie family came along and,
Who? Who in the what in the hell?
So the first UFC happened, right?
Oh, UFC.
And
all right, I just turned my brain off now.
Okay, anyway, so there you go. Change the world.
Enough said.
It's only 9:30. You can't shut down yet.
Sir Lester Griffin is clarifying. He just read my comment. Let me clarify. He's not my favorite artist over others. I miss all of his Moon Knight Sun Force work. I didn't see him until Ascension.
Oh, well, thank you. But really, it's
Don't worry.
yeah, totally okay anyway, because yeah, anytime you pick a style, it's going to appeal to some people and necessarily not appeal to others. And, you know, to have art that appeals to absolutely everybody, I think you end up with something a little gutless, you know? So, yeah, I certainly wouldn't expect that everybody likes it. I do appreciate that. And thank you. But yeah, no, I certainly don't think that is a
Slam.
no, not at all.
Devin Bowe says next week is a 300K subscriber giveaway. Is that true?
That is true. That's true, which is why I really would like to do something with the Green Power Ranger, but we're definitely going to have to do our 300K giveaway. We are so behind on everything, and that is one for sure. I mean, we hit 300K a few weeks ago, and I really wanted to do this one. Yeah, this whole fall feels like catch up. So much so, it's still fall, right?
It's the story of my life right now.
Yeah, that's actually, you know what? I think you isolated the problem. It's the horses. They need to go.
Well, something needs to go.
You know what's going before the horses, eh?
The kids. Kick them out of the house.
They're never leaving.
Yeah, that feels actually accurate. I should have brought John a drink tonight, but the clock was late. Like behind, it's slow.
Right.
And so I got up and I'm like, I got 5 minutes.
Well, at least now you know.
I heard you yell down here. Why were you yelling?
I wasn't.
I felt like I heard you yell, and I thought, oh, he's mad at me because I'm not down there. And looked at my phone, and it said 7:57, and I still had a couple things to do.
Oh yeah, no, I was.
So I didn't get a drink.
I was down here talking. Wasn't yelling.
You were yelling.
All right, I was yelling. I mean, look, it's happened before, so.
You yell all the time. You're a yeller. You can tell it just by looking at his face.
You can. It's killing me. This is looser than I really wanted it to be, but you know, it kind of. I would truly be here for 6 hours.
Yeah, can't happen.
So, as it is, it's definitely going to be well past when Meredith goes to bed. But I don't want it to take so long that you guys are. There's a diminishing returns on taking too long on a stream.
Just like put a pin in it for tonight and finish it tomorrow night.
Yeah, I really would like to finish it.
Instead of doing like a marathon stream, just do 2 nights.
Oh, you mean like do a stream tomorrow night?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Then you can go to bed at a reasonable time. Because Eric kept you up late last night.
Actually, I kept Eric up late. Eric, his picture just worked. And I was kind of struggling. And then, yeah, I kept him up pretty late. So it's more on me.
Luke Forwardson wants to know, Dave, did you work for Dennis O'Neil? And if so, what was that like?
No, you know what? Unfortunately, I was never able to. When I went to DC and did Batman, my first editor actually was Mike Martz, who was my editor over at Marvel. What did he edit me on at Marvel? He was actually my first editor.
Avengers, Moon Knight. I think it was Moon Knight.
Moon Knight was Alex Alonso.
Mm.
Anyway,
the one the wasp gets eaten.
that was actually Ralph Macchio again. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
X covers.
Oh, that's right. I did a lot of covers for X-Men. Yeah, that's what it was. And he actually was my first editor at Marvel. The first thing I did at Marvel, this was back in 2001, the very early 2001. I did 2 Wolverine covers, and he was the Wolverine editor at the time. And so I yeah. Anyway, so I got to DC. He was my editor there. That's just how the business works. And people say, "Oh, what do you like more? Marvel or DC?" And it's easy to forget that we're all comic fans at both companies, and there's so much kind of cross pollination of talent between both companies, not just in terms of artists, but also editorially. And yeah, Mike Martz is a great editor. He was a pleasure to work for.
Did that answer the Dennis O'Neill question?
I did not work for Dennis O'Neill. It would have been incredible. It's like working with Ralph Macchio. Working with someone that just has so much history. It would have been pretty amazing. Unfortunately, I missed out on that by not hugely too long either, I don't think.
Lance DeBoyer says, I'll be here with you till midnight, Dave. I'm on the night shift. Let's go.
See, there you go.
So you and Lance can hang out.
Yep. Yeah, if it's just me and Lance, it's fine. That's all we need. We want you guys here too. Don't go away. But yeah.
Man, I can't believe how hard it is to stay up past 9 o'clock these days. My eyes are burning. When you stay up late?
Mm-hmm.
Do your eyes burn?
Yeah.
You're making it up.
My problem is, and this is where I need to take some advice from Kelly Jones, is my eyes burn during the day at around 11 o'clock. And it's because I stay up late all the time. And so I end up napping during the day, and then I lose whatever time I manage to. And you don't sleep the same way. Like it's not as good. And it's something I know I need to change, and I keep saying I'm going to change it. And then
you know what?
What?
No time like the present.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there really isn't. I need to stop and start getting some proper sleep. Let's just make this dark in here.
Pardon?
I said, let's just make this dark in here.
Oh, okay.
You know what I like about shadow?
They cover stuff.
And it's done. I can't detail over that. It's just, there it is.
Fair. I think his whole cape should be shadow.
It is largely.
Actually, his whole face, like the whole thing behind Batman, should just be shadow.
Right. Big blot of ink, and then we all go to bed.
Yeah, I keep wanting to scroll up on the picture. Can you zoom out?
No, I can't. Unfortunately, I don't normally. It's so unusual for me to take up the whole image like this. I don't normally. Usually, it's.
Is that what the problem is?
Yes. Yeah. Normally, my picture's a little more localized in the center. So that is why. And yeah, if only TVs were vertical.
If only.
This is going, I gotta say, much faster than I expected.
Well, yeah, but this part always goes fast. And then you
Oh no, it is the hard part. Like I'm doing all the chains. I'm telling you, this is going faster than I thought.
Until you start rendering.
You'll see. Well, you won't because you'll be in bed, but we're not going to be up till midnight is my point. This is not going to take that long. My guess is it'll take to about 11, which is not so crazy.
It's outrageous.
Yeah. It's long, but it's not terrible.
JK Concert Film says, so I'm not the only one trying to scroll up. Yeah, I'm just like, I can't see the whole picture.
Yeah. And you know what? Here, let me do this. Could have done that a while ago.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and make it higher. That's as high as I can make it. How much better? Come on. Should have done that ages ago.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
What's the matter?
Seriously? How long have you been able to do that and not done that?
Well, it's never normally a problem.
A year?
It's not normally a problem.
Like 2 years, the entire time you've been using that camera?
Yes.
And you've never done that?
I have done that. Okay. I've done it.
This is like, I'm dying right now. Like, oh my gosh, look at, but sometimes the obvious is you overlook it.
Yeah. So, you know, cut me a little slack.
I'll cut you a teeny bit of slack. Teeny tiny bit of slack. Teeniest tiny. Of course, Jimmy Reyes comes in and says, Meredith Finch, I'm back. You guys can start over now. Jimmy, you missed out, dude. Kelly, 2 words, Kelly Jones.
Was Jimmy here for that?
I don't think he was.
Ah.
So, Jimmy, go back and you hit restart on the video and you can watch from the beginning. But we and the peeps, we've been here since the beginning. Is that how kids talk these days?
No.
I'm so not good at that. Sometimes they speak like I don't even know the language that my children are speaking. I know it's something approximating English.
I remember being a kid and yeah, parents like, come on, you know, you don't know anything. And now all I think when I'm older is I am not being lectured on what I do or do not know from people that don't pay taxes.
Super chat from Spear Retro for £5. Hi, Dinam. I recently coached a kind of new artist, and over the course of a month, went from a decent beginner to a skilled amateur. I'm very proud of him.
Well, that is great. Wow.
Amazing. Congratulations, Spear Retro.
Yeah, it's not many things bigger or more satisfying than being able to help somebody like that. That's really great.
And Travis Frederick says, Yo, David, I love your work.
Thank you very much, Travis. Really appreciate it. Thank you. All right.
All right, I'm going to bed.
No, you're not. Here we go, though. I don't even know why I'm testing this thing. If it doesn't work, we're going with it.
Use it even if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
Where's the Kelly Jones method of like breaking something in?
Well, this is the problem.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
We're all here live.
That's the truth. It would be nice to do that though.
It would be. What I do now, because I don't do that, and I really should. I tend to start on things like the knee here. If it doesn't work out, you know, it's not the end of the world. Especially because I can just cross render it, and you'd be amazed at how many sins you can cover with cross hatching. So, like, if I did these lines perfectly, which I didn't, but that's better. I could just leave it and it's fine. But if it looks bad, I can just put another layer of rendering over it and totally bring it together. There you go. Handy trick.
Fancy, fancy. I had a super chat.
I don't know why it is.
Chris Olette says, just popping on, not a super chat, but just popping on to say hi to the flock. I'm going to wait till it's done to watch the whole stream from the beginning. Much love. God bless y'all. Thanks, Chris.
Yep. And hi, future Chris, when you watch this.
Ooh. Story by Osmosis is the super chat for $10. Hey, DM, I reckon you could do a wicked Samson with a donkey's jawbone and mountainous field of defeated soldiers. Also, have you heard the latest Demon Hunter album? There's some good BGM for you.
I'll have to check that out. I have not. And yeah, I think Samson, any kind of Conan-ish character. Now I know Samson's been around longer than Conan, but regardless, any character like that tends to be the kind of thing I like drawing. And here we go. Look at this. I'm going to crosshatch. I didn't really need it so much because it was a mess. I wanted it more just for texture. But yeah, I don't know if you can see that very well, but it just cleans things up. It's great. Handy little trick. Crosshatching. Clean up your mistakes. And my pen is actually, like, things are just going my way right now. I'm telling you, Meredith. pen's working. I lost my whiteout. Here it is. Look at that. Found it right away.
I might have to step off the stream, Dave.
What is that?
I'm going to pass you my phone.
This is a horse-related issue?
No.
Okay.
Kid-related issue.
Mm.
So, I'm going to have to pop off.
Okay.
Okay. So, sorry, everybody. I'm going to read this last super chat from JDSCT for $5. Any chance you might consider turning this into a print for next year's con circuit? Either way, epic.
Well, thank you. And yeah, absolutely. I think definitely not outside the realm of possibility. When prints really, or when sketches really work out, it's kind of nice to be able to do that.
Do you want Eric to come in?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. All right. Eric says he can sub in.
Okay, great.
Eric's gonna sub in for me. Sorry, everybody, that I had to duck out a little early, but I'm gonna have to go make some phone calls.
All right. I'm going to sit here quietly until Eric comes in. Oh, here it is. Bailed out. Still doesn't have a camera. He's almost here.
I have a camera, but
Okay.
I don't have to go powder my nose.
Can you set it so you're not on the screen, but you're still talking? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Oh, you know, I can do that here,
Sure.
just like
There
this.
you go.
Or well,
I had to edit myself.
okay, yeah. Well, thank you, Eric, for coming in.
Yeah, no worries.
We knew you were coming in early, or coming in anyway. I didn't expect it to be early.
That's all good. Glad to help. Let me get set up here. No, I'm coughing. Let's see. It's easier for me to pull up the YouTube stream as well to check the chat.
All right.
Get that going here.
I'm jumping all over this picture right now. I mean, like jumping from place to place.
Yeah.
Dan DeSanto says, haha. I have no context though. But there you go. So for whatever reason, my pens, when I do these streams lately, have been really, these ones have been just coming in thick, and I just can't get the subtlety out of them. It's been driving me a little crazy. Tonight, they're working. And I have a theory why, Eric.
What is your theory?
My theory is I had my window open. It's just too hot in here. I've had a heater right over my head. So I had my window open for the last week, and I think maybe dried them out a little bit.
A little fairy came in.
Or yeah, a little fairy came in.
Yeah, maybe you should try that. Just let one dry overnight.
Yeah. Oh no, if you do that, if you just open it and let it dry, they just take forever to get working again.
Open each one and blow on it for a little bit.
Yeah, it's a real mess.
So that was pretty sweet having Kelly Jones on.
Yeah, that was really great. I'm very much looking forward to having him on to do some inking with him.
Yeah, I can definitely sit and listen to his musings on art and everything. It was just really, really fun to hear.
Yep. At the same time, like Kelly, stop. I don't want to, I don't want to cover all the ground, but he had so many insights about so many things. I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think we'll have a lot to talk about.
So Lance has a super chat. This past weekend, I had a booth at a show in Port Huron, Michigan, I guess, and was able to share your channel with so many people when asked how I learned to draw. Thanks for all your sharing and inspiration.
Well, thank you very much for that. Thanks a lot, Lance. I appreciate it. And thanks for sharing it. And I will have more videos coming up. It's just it has been very, very busy times, but more stuff is coming.
Russ wants to know if you're still using the micron PN.
Yes, but I like this more when it works. So this is more my go-to unless it just isn't working.
Yeah, I like the micron PNs. They're just not very flexible. Like I like that they're hard, but
I can work quicker with this because I get more of a range. But when they won't go thin enough, they're so frustrating. The micron PN is just better, but it doesn't feel as good.
Jim Klein's got a very good question in a super chat for $5. Dave, any tips on keeping the separate elements of a busy costume like Spawns reading correctly as separate elements and not being too chaotic? That's a very good question.
It is actually. It's a very good question. I would say, let me just. This is like the first process question we got all night too, which is crazy. So I've got here's like a simple body, and I've got an element here, some chain. I've got a cape, and then he's got his. I'm doing this all wrong, but you'll get the point anyway. He's got his this patterning on his body. So if I cast a shadow from this piece here and this piece here, right away that pops them out and kind of separates them. This is all one big shape, and so I'm just going to light it as just a big shape in a simple way. But because this is light and this is dark, I'm going to leave that light. And so you can see that really separates out. And that's something I'm doing here. I'm going to leave this all very light on top of the dark behind it. I'm going to shadow under the cape. And just really using good line weights and shadowing to show things layering on top of each other. So my chain is going to shadow below like this. You can really kind of keep things pretty separate very, very easy. It can still get a little confusing, and that does happen. There are times, especially Wolverine is really difficult for me because he has dark stripes on a lighter body. I struggle to draw things without shadow. And so dark stripes give me endless trouble. It's always a problem for me. Whereas light stripes like this are really easy because I can draw the body dark, which I'm more comfortable with, and then just leave the little stripes open. So it's very
it kind of goes back to the painting adage, light on dark, dark on light.
Yes.
Keep that almost like a checkerboard kind of idea going on.
Yep. Light on dark, dark on light, line weights, and still things do actually get lost here and there. But
okay, so I have context to Dan DeSantos laughing.
Okay.
He said, what did he say? He said, no, I'm not going to find it. Basically, he was saying, Eric's going to join and start coughing. And I joined, I started coughing. It was so bad I had to go on mute. And that's, I think, why Dan was laughing.
He's laughing
stuck in my throat. I was fine. The minute I joined, I just started coughing. So.
You come in and instantly turn into Meredith.
So definitely, yeah. She tagged me in and handed the cough over.
Yep.
Which Ware says contrasting is part of the composition. Yeah, contrast is very important.
It is. And the amount of times I've cornered myself in a composition with contrast, by which I mean I've got a dark foreground, which means you really kind of need a lighter middle ground, or at least if you need to separate it with shadow. And then if you your background, you want it to be lighter again, if you really want things to read when things get really complex. And I end up drawing everything with a lot of shadow, and the whole thing just closes in. At which point, your only salvation is working with a colorist that will just do a color hold and lighten everything in the background back. So they'll basically take a layer of your picture and they'll knock it back. And anytime I've ever done a cover where part of it's color held like that, you always know it's because I kind of blew my composition a little bit. I try not to do that, but it's when you work with a lot of shadow and detail, well, for me, it's difficult. I think you saw with the Kelly Jones picture, and that is so incredibly detailed, every layer of it. But the main elements were really contrasted with darks, like with a lot of light, very clear light, and that was really the only places in the whole picture where it was just open light. Everything else was. If it was light, it was rendered out. So it was more of a gray. And that really, really, in black and white, separated that picture out.
Yeah, there's definitely art forms within art forms. That's for sure.
Yes. And it's a really difficult thing to teach or explain, those kinds of nuances. At least I've found.
So we have to wait. I know we were talking about it tonight. we have to wait until March, right, for F1 again.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, if it's March even, I'm not actually sure. Bet you Henry knows.
Yeah, maybe Henry can tell us when they start testing. That's always fun for me.
Yep.
Yeah, many of them sandbagging.
Get your first impression of what the new cars are going to be like.
Yeah, and most of the time they're sandbagging. So if the competition can't get a whiff of anything cool they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting year. I'm not a Max Verstappen fan anymore.
Yeah, it was kind of odd.
So, okay, 2 races ago, Max Verstappen, each racer has a teammate. So there are 10 teams, 2 racers per team. And Max Verstappen's teammate was fighting for second over Eric's favorite, Ferrari. And he wasn't able to overtake. And so they let Max Verstappen through with the understanding that Max would give the spot back if he wasn't able to overtake. He couldn't overtake. He refused to give the spot back. And Sergio Perez needed that spot. Now, it wouldn't have mattered in the end, as it turns out. But, man, it was so cheap. You hate to see that. And I love Sergio Perez. He's such a great.
I mean, who knows what would have happened if he had let him, if he had been a better teammate. I mean, who knows what would have happened in Abu Dhabi? I mean, Charles may not even have come second. So
yeah, I thought that was deeply uncool. And
JDSCTs and Val Leonardo say testing's in February.
Oh, February! There you go. Less time to wait than you thought.
Yeah, I love the testing season.
So while I'm doing a lot of this rendering, I can zoom in. Do you guys want me to zoom in? What do you think? Comments?
Yeah, that'll be nice to see.
You think?
Yeah,
okay.
You can't really see rendering too well at the level you zoomed in right now.
Let's go ahead and do that. JDS CT says childish move cost Perez second place. It certainly contributed.
Yep.
If it didn't cost him, it was pretty uncool. And something like that can. Sergio Perez said it shows you who Max really is, and it was kind of a heat of the moment. Well, he had to take that back, but I think the spotlight that's been on both of them since that happened, and then his own comments and having to walk them back, that takes a toll out of you. And he might have ended the race differently if he wasn't dealing with that.
Right. There was a spot even in Abu Dhabi where he could have let Perez through, but then the problem is, do you hang back? So yeah, unfortunate, but at least he was. I mean, he came third. That's nothing to laugh at. So
So-
Archie Bible Nerd says YouTube allows us to zoom in by ourselves now. Well, that's good.
Really?
Hopefully it keeps a good resolution when you do that.
Hey, it's RT Bible Nerd.
Yeah, I haven't
Good
seen
to
him in
see
a
you here.
while. Yeah.
It's always nice to see people that I haven't seen for a little bit, you know? And I know not everybody can make Monday night and there are different things and you might watch later on, but you know, for me, I'm like, oh, they went away. They're gone. I do wish that streams could show 4K because as I look, it's pretty compromised. Like it's much more blurry than what I could be showing if I wasn't dealing with that. But
Yeah, it was cool. You could do like almost like a picture-in-picture.
Oh right, yeah. Oh, you know, I can barely do this.
You're gonna have like 50 cameras above your head.
Yeah, this is already like technical. I'm so not a technical person, and for me to figure this out, you know, I had help. I had Eric. You know, you helped quite a bit. Jimmy helped. Like I couldn't have done this myself.
You can have an angle, a reverse angle, a picture-in-picture.
Oh yeah, yeah, that works.
A picture of your bedside.
This is going so fast. I can't believe it.
Yeah, it's looking great.
Oh, thank you. Always amazing to me how much I love Drone Spawn, especially when hey, you guys want to see a Spawn cover? Meredith's gone. So, okay, I just turned this in today. I'm just going to do it. Nobody show anybody this because it's not out yet. Don't tell Meredith that I did this. All right. Now I'm going to have to zoom. I'll zoom out and then I'll zoom back in.
That's great.
Thank you. So this is Spawn with Michonne from Walking Dead. So yeah, I had a great time.
Do you hear all the collective pressings of print screen keys being clicked everywhere?
You know what? I was late with this, so I'm not feeling too badly about showing this because I know that it's going to be out there very, very soon. It's I'm sure being colored right now, and this will be out very soon.
Yeah, that's amazing, dude.
Anyway, I just finished this one, so yeah, there you go. Don't tell Meredith or anyone else.
That's great.
And one of these times I'm going to get busted for doing that. All right, let's zoom in here.
So Walking Dead ended on, was it Sunday?
So it's all over for now. They've got some spin-off stuff coming. Like there's a lot coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm waiting for? A proper Walking Dead video game.
Yeah, there's been a few. I haven't played. I know there's been some on mobile, I think, and then there was what was the name of that company that did like almost like point and click type stuff?
Yeah, when I say proper, what I mean is the kind of game that I like.
Kind of like a Last of Us or Days Gone. Yeah,
I want Days Gone.
Yeah, you can be a Daryl on the motorcycle, right?
I know. As a matter of fact, Days Gone is so blatantly Walking Dead. I mean, I love it, but I mean, come on, you know, the main character might as well be Daryl.
Yeah,
he's got the motorcycle.
I need to play that game.
What's that?
I need to play that game.
It's such a good game.
Yeah, certainly looks like it. I've seen videos on it. I know it's gotten the PS5 treatment, so
it has. Although I'm back to Zombie Army 4.
Is that the same? That's the same guys that did Sniper, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I played that too, which is another great game. I played that, and I went back and played the first one. It's by Rebellion Studios.
Yeah, Rebellion. That's it.
They have so much downloadable content, which I know people don't like, you know, because it's like exploitive, I guess, potential, but I don't care. For me, I'm so thrilled when there's new content. Like, so there's a new level, and there's new guns that you get all the time. And so right now I'm in hard mode and I'm trying to finish the whole game using a flamethrower. And
Well, I like Snipers DLC because I mean their maps are like almost infinitely replayable. So
yes, yeah, they are. Yeah, it's like open world, not open world, but they're so big they almost might as well be.
Yeah,
so many different ways you can do the same level. So yeah, that's my game right now. And I'm waiting for.
And you're playing Plague's Tale, right?
Yes, but I have to take breaks from it. It's too hard. I don't know if any of you guys have played it.
I've added them to my wish list.
What's that?
I added both of them to my wish list.
Plague's Tale?
On the PlayStation Store.
Oh, it's a hard game, which is a good thing, but I get frustrated trying to solve a puzzle after, these are probably puzzles that some people could solve in like no time, but I just get stopped and eventually I'm like, okay, I just need a break.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to relax here. I don't want to think too hard.
Yeah.
And I don't want to look it up. Like, the last thing I want to do is ruin it for myself. And then, the game's done. I'm like, oh, why did I do that? So.
Yeah. The one game that's coming to mind, which kind of bummed me out, was Doom Eternal. They turned that game into a relaxing shooter, to a sensory overload, trying to, all I wanted to do is fight hordes,
I beat that game.
Eternal?
Yep. You know how I beat it?
Gave your controller to someone?
Yeah, it's exactly. It is actually exactly how I beat it. Yeah. So I had my buddy over. I wanted this leg to go back, and I pushed it forward with my rendering coming up this. Like, I have my rendering coming this way, rounding it forward. I wanted it to round back, and I'm hoping I can fix it this way instead of having to. Yeah, I think it'll fix. Darn it. Yeah, so we would take turns. Every time somebody died, the other person would get the controller. So I would die, he would finish the level, we'd move on. I would die, that's how we did the game. I had a great time, actually.
You loved the game. Well, I want to finish it. It's just I'm at a point where it's just too much. It's like you said, you want to play a game to relax and
I will say that
some escapism, but man,
I think those games need to be out there. I'm glad they're there for people that are really good at games. It'd be a shame if every game is dumbed down for people like me, but yeah, it's a little too tough for me.
Well, they broke their formula though. That's what gets to me the most. Like Doom 2016 was, in my opinion, the best Doom ever. Yeah, that's kind of sacrilegious to say. The first one probably, but 2016 definitely the second best. And then Doom Eternal, they got rid of the multiplayer modes that I liked, and then just totally got rid of the core mechanics. It was just kind of a bummer. Still a great game, beautiful graphics.
Yes.
Yeah, we still need to have you draw Doom Guy.
Yeah. That's definitely on the list.
You know what we should do? We should paint Doom Guy, and we should paint one of the enemies.
That might be a better choice than Superman, just because it'd be a little more easy. I've been kind of having second thoughts about Superman, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if we'll actually be able to do that. Certainly on a stream, anyway.
Yeah. There's so many real cool mobs in Doom that just looks so good. They look great.
Richard M8422 says that 2016 is much better than Eternal.
Definitely. Oh, what a great game! You played 2016, right?
I didn't know, so I guess I
should give it a try. Yes, so much easier, so much. It's just I mean, there's some puzzles getting key cards, which you normally have to do, but
it's not the puzzles. It's the game is just so I just die all the time.
Well, the problem with Eternal, I mean, you got to use this grenade for this enemy. You got to. It's like, no, I just want to shoot them all with the same gun.
Yeah, that's like melee games, fighting games. I want to just hit everybody with the same button.
Yeah,
I think that's part of the reason why I really like Days Gone. There's there's hand-to-hand fighting. It literally is all the same button. That I can handle.
Yeah. Let's see. Anthony G for $10. Got here late, but I did catch Kelly. That was awesome. This drawing is awesome. Everything is awesome. Got to go put my son to bed. So thanks for the stream, Dave. Catch you next
Oh,
week.
well, I hope I don't miss you, Anthony, saying this. Thank you very much. Good to see you here.
Got me thinking of the Lego movie there. Everything is awesome. Did you watch that?
I watched that movie probably 10 times.
Yeah,
Not on purpose.
You can have that song in your head the whole of tomorrow.
Yeah, I watched that movie like someone that has kids that love that movie. I mean, look, I didn't hate it the first time. Maybe even the second time I didn't hate it. It's like Cars. That is the whole Cars franchise. 1, 2, and 3. Some of my most hated movies of all time. Not because they're bad, but because I have kids.
You
I
know,
have 3 boys.
never watched the Cars. I've started watching. I think the first one, fell asleep. But
Yeah, but it's because you have a girl.
well, yeah. I mean, she's big into like Toy Story and,
Yeah.
of
And
course,
look, there's some
Frozen.
girls
Frozen
like
is a big
Cars.
one.
But
Yeah.
unless your girl likes Cars, yeah. Generally speaking, if you have boys, you're watching Cars.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen a lot of princess movies.
Oh yeah. Frozen 1 and 2, and there's others.
So last time I went to Disney World, there was pictures, and one of the picture lines was for a Disney princess, and man, that was a madhouse. And I just felt so sorry for anybody with a girl because you'd be there.
Brooklyn got to see quite a few of the princesses.
Yeah,
she saw Rey by the Millennium Falcon and Belle, and yeah, she had a blast.
Yeah, you know what? They hadn't done the Star Wars thing when we got there.
It's great. Galaxy's Edge, I think yeah. There were some of those rides. I mean, it feels like you're off world. It's really, really done well.
Next year, I'm going to go to MegaCon, and we always go to Disney World afterwards. So I'll see it this year coming up.
Nice.
Time's at 10:12.
You're fine, Dave. Take
Yep.
as long as you need.
This is going to be done by 11:30 for sure. Maybe I think sooner. So much faster. Like, I don't know why I thought this was going to take so long. It's not.
Why do you think that is?
Well,
Everything's just kind of working.
Well, yeah, everything's kind of working. And chains, things like, okay, so my skulls. See, this is the problem. I need to not look at this too critically. The minute I do that, we'll be here all night. That's when things really go off the rails. When I go, oh, look at how terrible that skull is. But that's a big part of the reason is I'm just throwing some of that stuff in as opposed to really sitting and making sure that everything is exactly right. You know what? I want to go this way. I think most Spawn pictures that I've seen, his cape it's red and it's drawn light, so you don't get all that shadow underneath the cape. I just really, frankly, struggle drawing things without shadow. So my Spawn cape has a lot of shadow.
So B Bart is a super chat for $10. Hey David, the picture is amazing. Could you explain how you draw and connect the serratus anterior to the abs?
Yes, and thank you very much. Okay, let's do that. And I'm already zoomed in. Sharpen my pencil. You know what? I think I'm good. All right, so I'm going to do this again, just a little bit more detailed. And I'm on the page, so we're good. So here's my rib cage. Draw that in. Here's my chest. It's all fairly simple, and I like that kind of a shape for my my chest. It's a bit of a, feels like an armor piece almost. And it's very much a comic kind of affectation to have that large kind of chest cavity. There are some people that have it, but it's very rare. And it actually looks a little odd on a real person. And so for my stomach, what I'm doing, I'm going to draw a center line, and I'm doing this kind of a shape. And then I'm kind of connecting it. And that's a little more extreme than I would really do. You can see what I've got here is a little bit softer. But that's basically the idea. It doesn't have to be quite like that, but what you don't want to do is, here's a chest or a stomach muscle, and here's a stomach muscle, here's one. I mean, you can see how immediately bad that looks. You want to give your lines a little character. And so I'm going to start by drawing, these are my serratus up here. You've got one shape here, another one here, and then these kind of connect. And you can see I just did exactly what I was talking about, drawing kind of a circle, but I think I can kind of rescue that by drawing the long part of it with a little bit more character.
Speaking of Kelly Jones, David, did you get that from Kelly Jones?
Yes and no. He was my earliest big influence with this kind of muscle, like all the serratus, and I still use it, but I've kind of, it's something that really works sometimes, and then for some characters it doesn't work quite as well, and I went with something that's a little bit more true to human anatomy, just to kind of tone it down a little bit. And it's a tough choice because I love how that looks. I just found it doesn't work for every character. Yeah. Okay, so I've got my stomach coming up here and connecting in. Here's my lower stomach. You've got your oblique muscle here. And what I'm doing is just kind of connecting up my stomach in with these muscles. Just about like that. And if you notice that I'm a little bit not 100% sure on some of these little connections here, it's because it really is it's not something that I have really, really clearly defined, because a lot of these kinds of like this kind of area here,
just shaded out.
It's shaded out, and it's also, I'm playing with shapes. I want them to go a little more thin here and get thicker here as I'm rounding away from the light. So much of it is that I'm really forming a lot of my stuff with kind of that shadow. And so my actual line drawing, and I wouldn't do something quite so extreme with my lines anyway if I wasn't shadowing, because it's just way too much. Like, it just looks overdone. And so I never do this. And as a result, and I don't have a use for having it so perfectly realized, just because it doesn't kind of contribute to the way that I draw. So what I have is a little unrealized. But basically, you want your stomach, as it comes up here, to start interlocking with your, serratus, basically. And, I already blew it there. But that's kind of basically it. And you know what? I wish I could have done a better job with that. In my head, I thought that was going to go much better. In reality, that turned out to be a little tough. So apologies.
Yeah, I'm learning how to draw. Says the chest that you and Jim Lee uses look like what happens to the chest from the 1970s bodybuilders had.
Yeah, and Jim Lee's chest method is his own version of really what John Byrne was doing. Like, it's got a lot of history in comics, and a lot of artists have kind of developed that look over the years. For me, I had a choice. Do I want to draw it like Jim Lee? Do I want to draw it like Kelly Jones? Do I want to draw it like a lot of different artists? And one of my biggest is Alan Davis, because he had something that I felt like had the Jim Lee kind of a protruded, powerful look that I really like, but it looked just a little bit more natural to me. And that's a choice. Like, when I say it looks a little more natural, it's not better. It just appealed to me more. And also, I I was very consciously trying to not draw like Jim Lee just because, at the time everybody was, and I didn't want to fall into that trap. And it's so difficult. I mean, he's such a groundbreaking artist. He's such an influence on everyone. I would say that because I have people say or ask me if I'm influenced by Jim Lee, and I say yes, because he was an early influence for me, and he's also so influential that he's influential almost by osmosis. But for the most part, I've tried to stay away from his work and Mark Silvestri, just because they are such strong influences. The minute I start looking at them, it's difficult for me to find my own voice.
I like that kneecap. Knee ornaments. I don't know what you call it. Oh, that's the actual head.
Where's that?
What would you call those boots? It's
Oh yeah. Well, thank you.
like bracers, but it's the leg version.
Yeah, and they go out into like this big, oversized boot. It's a cool design, and what I really want to do is fade it, so it kind of disappears back there just a bit. And so I'm going thicker with my lines down here, and then kind of getting thinner as I go to the top. And that's the idea that I'm kind of trying for anyway. If I don't really get that and it looks a little bit too uniform, then I just go in with cross rendering, and I might do that. We'll see. So I'm going to finish here and see kind of.
Jim Klein's got the word. I was actually looking it up now because I made a fool of myself. It's called greaves. Yeah.
The boot things.
Yeah. Greaves.
So okay, I think that's not really fallen back enough. Anyway, I'm going to cross render it entirely just to push it back more. I want to be as subtle as I can be with my choices while I'm kind of working at, a pretty fast speed.
Paul Essence and Diablo taught me a lot about different armor names. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You told me you never played Diablo, right?
No, it's not for me. Isometric. Right?
Yeah.
Like kind of you're looking down at everything. I don't like that. And you know what? Here I am not giving something a chance because I really never did. So I mean, I could have loved it. I just dismissed it right away, probably unfairly. I mean, everybody loves it, right? So that works better, don't you think?
Oh yeah,
pushes it back more. All right. Yep. What else? It's 10:23. Man, that's so fast. Oh, I got this whole hand to do. And most of this arm. All right. I spoke too soon.
Keith Foster says, hi, your art is a huge inspiration for me. I'm so glad I caught your stream.
Well, good to have you here. Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, welcome.
We're here every Monday, almost without fail. Every once in a while, something happens, but for the most part, we're always here on Monday. He's got gloves. I should not be doing this. Where I've got it kind of delineated like a claw
there. Dan Genovese. I know Dave has a video about drawing clothing and folds. Does he have a video geared towards drawing pants, specifically jeans? Was that one next, Dave?
Yeah. And yes, that is next. It's going to be focused on drawing figures and then attaching clothes to figures that you've drawn. So what it always comes down to is you want to draw the figure first, not in crazy detail, because obviously you're not going to see it. It's going to be under clothes. But unless you have your shapes worked out properly, your clothing will look like it's just kind of draped over nothing. And so, yeah, the whole video will be designing clothes-on figures and some of the challenges that come with that. And hopefully it'll work out well and it won't turn into me trying to show how to attach the stomach to Serratus.
Yeah. The main part of my head was just the volumetric nature of it. It's wrapping around form. And it looks
Eric,
square.
you'll see. It's easy.
Huh?
It's
Okay.
easy. You'll see.
Nice.
Trust me. It's easy.
You know those paper dolls where you like take pens and you fold it onto a figure? That's what mine. If I'm not careful, it could start looking like that.
Yeah, well, I will say folds are in clothing are a hugely overlooked thing in people's art that I see all the time. You know, when people come up with samples, which I understand. But
yeah, because you spend so much time trying to nail anatomy.
Yeah.
That, you know, now when you got to start putting regular people with your superheroes, and then you're in trouble.
Yeah, I found women were that for me too. I spent so much time drawing like, you know, big beefy arms and like, you know, my superhero guys, and I wanted to draw Wolverine, and then I'm like, whoa, I have no idea how to draw a woman at all. And so I had to kind of, now this was before I put in samples that I got work with, but yeah, I realized I needed to stop and, you know, actually do a little bit of study. I had a few things like perspective was something that I really had no understanding of, and I kind of had to stop and teach myself that as well as I could. And my trick with perspective, I did a video on this, and it is perspective hacks is what it's called. But basically, I didn't know how to do perspective really very well, and so I just would look at artists that did it well and steal their angles. And eventually I kind of got a feel for how to do it myself. So, you know, instead of just doing something that's totally whacked out and not really working, find one that works. Find where they put their points. It doesn't need to be perfect, but it'll get you so much closer to where you want to be than just winging it when you don't know what you're doing. I've got some line weights and this arm. I keep forgetting my arm. All right.
I'm smudging the ink.
What's that?
Are you smudging the ink?
No, I keep thinking I'm almost done, and I forget that I still have this arm to do.
Chris Burks for the $10 super chat. Thanks, Dave, for the extended stream. This is so incredible. It's hard to put to words. Your work has given me something to look forward to and tons of inspiration.
Oh, thank you very, very much. Thanks for the super chat. I really appreciate it.
Looks like Ross Klein is up for the night. Thanks for another great podcast. Good night, all.
Hear that, Ross?
Yeah.
You have to go to bed, and Eric just called you a clown. Because you're going to bed. That's what happened.
See you next time, Ross. Yikes.
That's live streams. I don't think he's going to be mad at you, Eric.
I hope not, because it was definitely not intended that way. I would hope some people would understand.
He knows. All right, I'm going to zoom back out. Jimmy Reyes says, every time I see your work, I can hear my 102 quill calling to me. Yeah, I really would. We're gonna do a stream, Jimmy and I. I'm gonna pencil something. He's gonna ink it using a quill and a brush and some traditional tools, and we'll really go over some of that stuff. I'm looking forward to that one. That's gonna come pretty soon, also. So yeah, there we go. You can't really see the whole picture, unfortunately, because it's that's most of it. So there you go, Spawn Batman. That was an absolute blast. Oh, I need to sign it.
Ugh.
There we go. All right. So this one will be going up for charity. Now I'm going to be relying on Meredith to do that. So we'll see. But she should get it up over the next couple of days. We'll have it up for an auction. I don't know how those things work exactly, but she does. And you'll be able to find that on, I'm sure, Facebook, our Facebook page. So yeah, check it out there. And hopefully it will do well. I know the charity could certainly use it. This was a lot of fun. I'm pretty happy with it, Eric. All
Oh
around.
yeah, it came out amazing. Should be happy.
Yeah. So, thanks again to Kelly Jones for coming on and spending some time with us. So that was really, really great. I'm very much looking forward to having him again. Be sure to check out the link in the description to Kelly's cover for Batman Deadly Duo. Yeah, link in the description for that. And what else, Eric? Am I forgetting anything?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, if I'm forgetting something, I'll remember it next Monday. All right. Have a great weekend or a great week, everybody. Thank you so much for coming in and spending some time with us. This was an absolute blast to do. I had a great time with this one. So yeah, next week it's going to be our 300K giveaway. So I'm excited for that one. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night.